Hey guys, my name's Spam Attack from Zelda Gamers United. What's going on, guys? Today we're going to be doing a different kind of video, a speculation video for Zelda month on The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Now, there's been a lot of things to be said about this game, but one thing I haven't seen touched upon all that much is dungeons. We know there will be over 100 of the Shrine mini dungeons in the game. But also from a leaked interview from a person in Japan playing through the game, the translation reads that there will be about 7 dungeons, 1 in each main area. For instance, the Great Plateau from the game's demo was one of those areas, which means in that whole area there would be 1 dungeon. Now, personally, I think that's great to have 1 dungeon in each area, but to have 7 in the game? Nah. I don't know about that. Personally, when they were talking about having anywhere between 10 and 20, that's what caught my eye. So I'm expecting about 15 dungeons. But what are those 15 going to be? So, we have been confirmed, though, that there will be 1 in the Great Plateau. So that's what we're going to have to go off of. So, let's jump right into it with my speculation for all 15 dungeons in The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Personally, I think there will not be multiple of each type of dungeon. The first of which I think will be like a starter dungeon, introducing you to puzzles, kind of teaching you about Zelda Breath of the Wild. That'll be the Great Plateau dungeon. I think the dungeon will be very simple and won't have all that much of a theme, and I really don't know what to expect from it, but I don't think it'll just be, Forest Temple or Fire Temple or something. That's not what I'm expecting. For the second dungeon, I'm expecting it to be a classic forest temple, something that would be along the lines of Majora's Mask, Ocarina of Time, and Wind Waker, and Twilight Princess. Those 4 had great 3D dungeons from the forest temple. Now, Skyward Sword's forest temple, not the Ancient Cistern, I consider that a water temple, but the Skyview Temple, I did not like all that much. So, moving on to what the third dungeon, in my opinion, would be. We have these canyons out there, but there is a difference between a canyon and a desert. Not much, but I could see there being a desert temple in the desert. Now that is going to be cool. I always loved desert temples. I mean, look back to Arbiter's Grounds in Twilight Princess. Now that is an awesome dungeon. Now back to the canyons for the 4th dungeon. I think hidden in one of the canyons in the game, kind of at the bottom or along the side, there will be a canyon dungeon. Personally, this seems a little weird even to think about, but a canyon dungeon could be cool if they do it right. I feel like this would be the point in the game where if the hook shot returns, and hopefully it will be the double claw shot, or hook shot, whatever they're calling it these days, but hopefully I feel this would be a great place to get that. Now, we know Death Mountain is in this game, so how about throwing in a fire temple in Death Mountain, just like Twilight Princess and the Ocarina of Time. I'm out of it today, but that's just one idea. Now they could also do one just outside, leading into the volcano. So however they do it, that'll be great. So that's 5. There would be 3 times that amount in the game. Now, for the 6th dungeon, I'm speculating a water temple. And honestly, you guys are going to hate me for this, but one of my favorite Zelda dungeons is actually the water temple from Ocarina of Time. I love the dungeon. The puzzles are hard enough, and I don't find switching into the iron boots that annoying. It seems that if you can look beside it taking a couple seconds to switch it out, it's not that big a deal. So, moving on from that, I'm expecting a wind temple. Now, I'm not exactly sure where they would place a wind temple in the game for the 7th dungeon, but I don't want it to be in the sky, and let me tell you why for my 8th dungeon. Personally, I think the 8th dungeon, or a 8th dungeon, would be really cool to be a sky dungeon, and not any sky dungeon. There's been tons of sky dungeons in Zelda, but I want Skyloft. Yes. What if they turned the ruins of Skyloft into a dungeon? Now, wouldn't that be cool? And even like at the center, about to fight the boss, you could go into the final dungeon from Skyward Sword, the Sky Keep. That would be awesome. Now, moving back down towards the ground for the 9th dungeon, I'm predicting that we will see a snow temple. Now, we haven't seen a snow temple since Twilight Princess for 3D dungeons. Now, we saw one in Link Between Worlds and Triforce Heroes, well, if you can count those as dungeons, but we have seen them. So, I have confidence that in the new snowy area, we will be receiving one. Now, this is at the point where I kind of started having to make up some stuff about what could be dungeons. With 6 more spots on this list, I wasn't at first exactly sure what to do. But then it hit me. In The Legend of Zelda, A Link Between Worlds, there was a dungeon called Thieves' Hideout. Yeah. So, maybe not Thieves' Hideout, but what if they put in the game a Bokoblin camp? For instance, like the Skull one in the Great Plateau. But if you go in the skull, maybe there's a puzzle or something. But once you do the puzzle, it opens up something else. And then you realize you're inside a dungeon. The Bokoblin Camp dungeon. Now, wouldn't that be awesome? Now, another thing. I think it's obvious that there will be a final dungeon in the game. And I predict that this dungeon could be mandatory. In a way. I think that Hyrule Castle could be a dungeon in itself if they did it right. It wouldn't be the longest dungeon, but it'd be something to build you up to fighting Calamity Ganon. It'd be very cool to do. Now, that's 11 dungeons. There would still be 2 more. So what are my predictions for the other? My bad. I meant 4 dungeons left. What are my predictions for the other 4? Well, the shrines. The shrines from the games, there's over 100 of them. You know there's something more important than what they're giving off. Here's my theory. At the end, they said there's something special that will be unlocked if you complete all of the shrines. So my theory is something called the Master Shrine. This is a full dungeon of shrine puzzles, as well as at the end of the 12th dungeon, which this is, you would be rewarded with the Hero's Tunic from all of the other Zelda games. Now, there's still 3 more dungeons. What else could they possibly add? Well, here's what I thought. I think another Twilight dungeon could be cool. We've seen Wolf Link in the trailers, so what if there's a connection to this game? We've seen countless connections between this game and Twilight Princess. So what if the Twilight return in this game, and we could have another Twilight dungeon and potentially another battle with Zant? Now, I also think it'd be cool if Midna returned somehow in this game. That could also be very cool. Now, we have 2 more dungeons. So for the 14th dungeon, I'm predicting a dungeon leading up to the Master Sword. This dungeon would be called the Hero's Temple. Now, what would you do in a Hero's Temple dungeon? Well, the Hero's Temple dungeon would mainly be fighting enemies, but you would also have to solve puzzles that wouldn't be so easy to the eye. For instance, what if you get to the center of the dungeon, and there's like a big shaft, and you can see up, but you just don't know how to do it. But then you see a claw shot hook thing on the wall. You grab it, but it really pulls that out, and pulls out stairs. Little puzzles like that all around the place could make this a very cool dungeon. Now, what's my idea for the 15th dungeon? Well, I'm not going to do a dungeon for the Hylian Shield. I think that should be obtained if you do all of the side quests, or something to that effect. Because I think the Hylian Shield is not worthy of a dungeon if the Master Sword gets one for a dungeon. So what could be that last dungeon? Now, there's a lot of things they could do here, and a lot of original ideas. And personally, I don't know. But there's always multiple ideas out there. Personally, what I think could be very cool if I did it right would be an all original dungeon. It would have to make sense and it would have to be good. Now, I'm not exactly sure what they could do here, and it would surprise all of us. So whatever they do here, it would have to be perfect. And I think this one would be a surprise to all of us, some way and somehow. Whatever they do, as long as they do it right and as long as it's good, I hope it stays with us forever if it works. Now, thank you guys for watching, and on to the outro. Hey guys, my name is Spam Attack from Zelda Gamers United. Thanks for watching this video. Make sure to comment and like this video, and if you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below for videos daily. Now, this weekend, we are going to start something where I will do 3 episodes of Game Wars a week. We're going to do Saturday and Sunday episodes of Game Wars and Game Wars Wednesdays. So, look forward to that. That's going to be my schedule as well. We are going to end up having, I'm hoping for 12 Game Wars episodes for Zelda month. Now, for the next month, all Game Wars episodes will be on Zelda games. And all of my videos on this channel will be about Zelda for the next month. Yeah, thanks for watching. On Saturday's Game Wars episode will be Skyward Sword and Twilight Princess. Write down in the comment section below what you think of that matchup. And Sundays will be Link to the Past and Link Between Worlds. I'm really looking forward to making those videos. I love all 4 of those games, so it's going to be very fun and hard for me to make. So let's go ahead and get Hype City going for those, and I will see you guys in the next video. My name is Spam Attack, logging out of the ZGU.